Jim from Max Speed Cycles in Kernersville, North Carolina here again. And today we're going to talk about brakes, specifically brakes on older motorcycles. And for examples today, what we have are two Kawasaki's. One that has a great master cylinder feel, lever, it feels really good. We have another one, little mushy, not so good. So for the examples that we're going to be using, we have a 1986 Kawasaki ZX1000. This is the predecessor to the ZX10, and this bike currently has about 38,000 miles on it. The other bike we have here is a 1984 GPZ 1100, and it has about 68,000 miles on it. It's been well kept, as you can see. The customer has really kept this bike up. And the complaint he's having is just what we talked about, a mushy brake lever. The customer has had the calipers rebuilt previously. He's had the master cylinder rebuilt previously. Still the same result of a mushy lever. We've bled this, there's no air in the system. So this is what we're going to get into today. What are the causes of this bike having a mushy lever and this bike doesn't? I know some of you are out there saying, well, it's got the original rubber lines on it, and that's probably the problem why it's so mushy. These lines, we've inspected them. They're free of any outward cracks or anything else like that. Nice and pliable. And the customer would like to leave them if possible because he would like to keep his bike as original as possible. The other interesting thing is this bike has the original brake lines on it from 1986 and still has a good lever. They both share the same type of caliper system, a 2-pin sliding system with a single piston. This caliper is used on many Kawasaki's. They also use it on Yamahas and several other bikes. And so we're going to get into, you may have a Yamaha Virago with a mushy lever and can't get it better. You may have another type of Kawasaki that has a mushy lever. So we're going to get into that, and you've done everything you can do, and you don't understand why it's still mushy. Well, we're going to get into that today and show you why this lever is mushy and what we can do to fix it. So stay with us, guys. We're going to get right to it. On the 84 ZX1000 here, as you can see, we have a caliper pin here and then another down here. Exactly the same type of setup here with a single piston pushing and sliding on these two pins here. And I'm going to squeeze the brake lever, and you can see here, there's absolutely no movement of the caliper whatsoever. There's none up here at the top, none on this slide. None of these slide pins are moving about, and it has a nice solid lever. So every time you squeeze the brake lever, the caliper is only moving outward as the piston pushes against here, forcing both brake pads against the rotor. And once the piston is out against the rotor, there's very little movement whatsoever in this when it floats in and out, because it doesn't have to move very far. Thus, no movement, and makes for a really good solid lever. And like I said, you can see these lines. These are the original lines, just like over there on the 84 model. And this thing has a really solid lever. Now what I'm going to do is take this caliper off and take that other caliper off, and I'll let you see the pins so that you can see the wear difference on the pins. So we'll get right to that. Clean off this grease here so you can see. What we have is the actual bracket that holds that the caliper slides on. This is actually bolted right here to the fork itself, and then this is the 2 pins that the caliper slides on. And as you can see, there's a little bit of wear right here, just a very small amount, and a little bit more on this back side right there. Taking the black finish off of it, the coating that's put on there to help protect it, keep it from wearing. But the rest of the pin, as you can see, really looks pretty good. And the lower pin here, got a teeny bit of wear showing right here. It looks like in the camera there, it's glaring, so it makes it look like a lot more wear than is really there. It's actually very, very, very insignificant amount of wear on this lower pin. The upper pin is where most of the wear has taken place, and it is primarily in one spot right here. However, this is still holding this caliper very, very tightly. The ZX1000, I've inserted the pin back into the caliper, as you can see. And we're going to move this bracket. And as you can see, there's a little bit of movement. Pretty insignificant. So let's quickly go over to the 84 GPZ and we'll get that apart and take a look at that one. As you can see right here, if you look closely at the top up here, you can watch that caliper move every time I hit the brake lever there. And at the bottom, you can see it moving outward as the top side moves downward every time you hit the brake. And this is happening on both sides, causing a lot of flex there in the caliper, like I was saying, taking up lever travel, causing it to not really have the greatest of all levers. Here we are at the GPZ. We'll get this one apart really quickly. This brake pad's got some pretty good wear. About time to get another one of those. Let's get this boots off of here. Pull this pin out. Clean it off. All right, get this thing up here. What you can see is on the lower pin here, again, there's a glare, but not any real significant wear on this lower pin. Looks pretty good. I would say that's got a little bit of wear right there, but not bad. Let's turn our attention to the upper pin. And you can see pretty significant wear going on right here. And twisting it around, even more wear here on the bottom. Again, once again, pretty significant wear there. And even on this side, we have another pretty good spot. And at the top, even more wear. So let's continue around this pin. We even have more wear showing up on this side and the top of the pin there. So overall, this pin, and you can see all the shiny spots here on this pin, and very significant wear right here. And this is what's allowing this caliper to pivot, which is causing, as you can see, there's a significant amount of movement right there that allows that caliper to move. And both of them are moving this way, and that is taking up some of that piston movement as it's moving into the brake pads. It's moving the caliper away even that much further, which takes up even more of the lever travel. Okay, for a quick recap of what's happening is, as I explained, these caliper slide pins are worn. The bushing inside the caliper itself is worn, allowing the caliper to move on these pins themselves. So the reason that this bike, this GPZ here, has that long lever travel, not a good firm feel, not real confidence inspiring there, is because of this worn caliper pin and bracket here. Now, on the fix for this problem, unfortunately, this part is not available separately from Kawasaki. It's not available aftermarket that I'm aware of. I mean, maybe somewhere, but I haven't found it yet. It's like I said earlier, this is a setup that's used on many Kawasaki's and on some Yamahas, Paragos, and things like that. And they have these issues. You have to buy this with the caliper. They were sold as an assembly, and on these two particular models, they have been discontinued. So you can no longer buy this from Kawasaki. You cannot buy the caliper from Kawasaki. So, what do? How do we fix this? Unfortunately, the only known fix that I'm aware of is buying a used setup like this from a reputable salvage dealer or eBay, something with very low miles. As you can see, this bike had 38,000 miles on it, and the wear is rather insignificant, and the brakes work great. Add another 30,000 miles to it, to the 68,000 mile bike, and that little bit of wear and that little bit of movement makes for a really poor feeling lever. So what you have to do is try and find a good used setup for this, something with preferably with low miles that you can put in there and it'll solve the problem. We've done it to a couple of older Kawasaki's and a couple of Viragos with this same exact type of problem. We found some good used parts from various sources and solved this problem completely. No movement in the caliper, restoring the lever feel and taking care of the problem. This, hopefully this helps you, and if you're dealing with a problem like this on an older vintage bike, whether it's a sport bike or whether it's a cruiser, with this type of 2-pin single piston sliding system, this could be your problem. Of course, always make sure that your lines are in good condition. And if this was my bike, I would probably put braided lines everywhere just because I like the way that gives the feel that it gives. Like I said, he would like to keep this as original as possible, so he's not interested in doing that. Make sure that your calipers, the pistons are nice and clean inside. It's a really good idea when you have a vintage motorcycle to go ahead and rebuild these calipers. Get them clean, get them cleaned out, and new seals, new dust seals. The same goes with the master cylinder. You want to make sure that all of this stuff is in perfect working order because after all, it is what stops the motorcycle. When you have an old bike that perhaps hasn't run for several years and you want to get it up and get it out on the road and enjoy that thing, even if it's in good condition like this one is, you can see that there can be some problems. And you want to make sure that your brake system is in great condition. And that includes flushing all the old fluid out of the system. And the only way to really, really, truly do that is to actually remove the pistons from the calipers and take the master cylinder apart. You'd be surprised how much gunk is up in those things. And it will really affect the brake performance of the motorcycle. And of course, as we can see, Warren's caliper slide pins can do that as well, even if you've already taken care of all of these other things. I hope this video is helpful and can get you on the road to perhaps solving some issues you have with your brakes. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video and stay tuned for more. Thank you very much.
Hey guys, if you like this video and you like getting special offers from Max Speed Cycles, getting updated to what's going on and where we're going to be, it's easier than ever. Max Speed Cycles now has a newsletter when we send out what we're doing, what's going on, and when we're having great deals for you. All you have to do is go to our Facebook page, Max Speed Cycles on Facebook. Underneath the cover letter, there is a sign up button. Click that, fill it out, and you are automatically signed up for our newsletter where we'll send you out all the great stuff going on and great deals we've got coming down the pike. You can also like us on Facebook. You can go to Instagram at Max Speed Cycles. You can go to www.maxspeedcycles.com as well. You can give us a ring, 336-993-6661. Again, 336-993-6661. There's a lot of ways to stay connected with Max Speed Cycles, but the best by far is to sign up on our Facebook page for our newsletter. Hit that button, get signed up, and you'll never miss a great deal from Max Speed Cycles. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.